Welcome back. So far, as a part of this section, we have understood what is read API, what is write API, and how do we read and write into different file formats like CSV, JSON, Parquet, ORC, and also unstructured file format like text files. One of the wonderful aspects of the Spark is it allows us to read from databases as well. When we talk about the databases, we know the data in the databases is in structured format. As a part of this lecture, at a high level, we'll understand what are the important aspects of reading the data from databases. Let's get started. As we understood, Spark allows us to read the data from any database which has a JDBC connectivity and also any database which has a ODBC connectivity. Just to give you an overview, why do we really need JDBC and ODBC connectors? Let us take an example. For a minute, take off the Spark from this whole picture. Try to visualize you are working as a part of the project and there you got to read and write into the databases. What happens is you have an application and you have a database. When you have a database, the database engine would store the data and it will allow us to query the data. Some of the times we do have GUI along with the database. Some of the time GUI is not there. So whenever you don't have a GUI, that is graphical user interface, to access the database engine and query the data, you need to have some way to read the data from a database and write into database engine, right? That is where JDBC and ODBC connectors or drivers come into picture. Whenever we have an application which need to read and write from databases, that is when we'll have JDBC and ODBC connectors. Coming back to the Spark now, we know what is Spark. Spark is a computing engine. So far, we have been reading the data from different sources in Spark. We do understand Spark needs to read the data from different sources to create a data frame, and using the data frame will do further analysis. Database is an engine where the data is stored in a structured format. We want to read from the database engine into the data frame in Spark. For a Spark to read the data from different databases, we need to go through these connectors. Any databases which has a JDBC and ODBC connectivity will be able to read the data from those databases and also write into those databases from Spark. We'll understand further. If we come to the JDBC, JDBC is a Java database connectivity. Usually, it is for any non-window applications. What JDBC is an API which defines how a client may access a database as I indicated earlier. It is used for a Java database connectivity. On the other hand, ODBC is a driver, that is a open database connectivity that allows the applications to access the data in DBMS using SQL for accessing the data. ODBC alone can access the different database management systems. It is created by the Microsoft. Now we understood the JDBC and ODBC. SQL data sources are one of the most powerful connectors, as there are variety of systems to which we will be able to connect to. Like we have MySQL database, PostgreSQL database, Oracle database and SQLite. These are the varieties of databases from which we have to read the data and to which we have to write the data. Now that we understood, we can read the data from any databases which have JDBC and ODBC connectivity. A simple question: can we read the data from SQL databases in a similar way as reading of files? Can you pause a video and think of? Not really. What may be the reason? The reason being, databases are not just the raw files. There are so many options when we want to connect to the databases. Some of them being, you got to worry about the authentication, means everybody will not be able to log into a database. We need to enter the username and password to log into the database. And also you need to know where exactly the database installed, the port number and all those things. So we need to worry about the connectivity also. So reading the data from databases is not as straightforward as reading the data from files. We got to worry about authentication and also connectivity. Thank you.